Hi, my name's Andy Francess, and I've been sent here today to save you from yourself. That's right, I'm here to save you from that early onset Alzheimer's that allows you, in your mind, to forget everything you've known the whole way through and allowed you to become, like many others out there, a prisoner of the moment. That's what I'm seeing looking around. Prisoners of the moment everywhere. Prisoners of the moment on the TNT broadcast as they're previewing this Western Conference final matchup between the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights, saying
it's a coin flip, boys. It's going to be a heck of a series.
Rewind the clock a couple of weeks, and we have a team in full disarray who fired their coach, and nobody is considering a legitimate Stanley Cup threat. And what has changed since then? Oh, I don't know. They beat the Anaheim Ducks and the Phoenix, Utah, Arizona Coyotes in back-to-back rounds. And now we're supposed to believe, no, this is the Vegas Golden. They won a Stanley Cup a couple years ago. This is the team that they'll give Colorado a run for their money. I am here to tell you today, do you not remember all the pregame speeches? Do you not remember everything that was said? Do you not remember how I told you all year long that the 2026 Vegas Golden Knights are a worse version of the Vegas Golden Knights than the 2025 Vegas Golden Knights, who were a worse version of the 2024 Vegas Golden Knights, who were a worse version of the Stanley Cup winning Golden Knights? This Golden Knights team that you're about to see take the ice against the Colorado Avalanche would lose to the 2023 Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. The way people are talking about this series is how they should talk about it if the 2023 team is just going to take the ice for this series, where you had Prime Marchessault with Barbashev on the top, you had Stevenson and Stone on the third line, you had massive amounts of depth, you had scoring coming through from all 4 of your lines, and magically now we're supposed to believe that this is an even series because the most recent thing that happened is Vegas won in a Game 6 against the Anaheim Ducks, who couldn't win a game to save their life the final month of the season. But now they're taking on a team in the Colorado Avalanche who are the inverse of the Vegas Golden Knights, where the 2023 Colorado Avalanche, much to many people's chagrin, lost to the Seattle Kraken. They had no Kadri. Landeskog was injured. Nichushkin got himself suspended, and it was just Rantanen and McKinnon trying to do everything. And then the next year, they get Nichushkin back, and they beat Connor Hellebuck, who won the Vezina. They won around there. Then last year, they add Natchez to the team. They get Landeskog back for playoffs. Then this year, that team gets a full year together. They add Kadri. They add... It's literally 2 escalators, one at the top and the other at the bottom. And I'm supposed to believe this is going to be a long series. I'll fast forward to the end. I told you the Stanley Cup was played last round. Colorado got over their hump. The second round, and avoiding Dallas, I thought the minute Dallas was gone, that sealed Colorado's fate as the Stanley Cup champion, because I thought they would get through Minnesota. And let me tell you how they got through Minnesota, by the way. Cale Makar pretty much got injured in the first game, making him a non-factor in every single game after game 1. They lost Lehkonen, a top-line player for them. They lost Sam Malinsky, a huge guy who steps up when Cale Makar is injured or can't play or is limited. They lost both of those guys. They got no production all playoffs long from Val Nichushkin and Brock Nelson, and that's another guy you can add to this Colorado team that's been building, by the way. No production from all of them, and they won the series in 5 games, in whatever which way you want it. Oh, you want 8 goals in a game? There's game 1. You want us to just kind of dominate them, shut them down? There's game 2. You want us to play a great game in their building? There's game 4. You want us to come back from 3-0 down? There's game 5. They will beat you in a variety of ways. Then on the other side, we see a Vegas Golden Knights team who, after 2 games in round 1 against Utah, people were picking Utah because that's how poor Vegas looked. That's how bad Carter Hart looked. Then in round 2, they get outplayed in games 1 and 2 again. And you have John Tortorella saying, were lucky to come out of this 1-1. They won an overtime game in there, and then they closed the series the same way that they closed the Utah series, with a great game on the road, which they are definitely capable of. They are capable of stopping offensive teams, inexperienced offensive teams, who they're able to eliminate. The jump up in competition is not, well, now they're going to be playing a better team. No, now they're playing the overwhelming number 1 seed who hasn't been taken to 6 games in a series and is the best version of Colorado since they won the Stanley Cup. And Nathan MacKinnon has goals in 6 or 7 straight games, whatever it is. They're not even firing close to on all cylinders, and they're winning these series 4-0, 4-1. And if you haven't got the point by now, don't become a prisoner of the moment. This series is over before it started. I don't say that a lot. They are eons better than this version of the Vegas Golden Knights, because unlike you, I stick with what I know. I told you all year long, 2024 Vegas Golden Knights worst, and it culminated to the point they had to fire their coach. Don't let a couple good games against the Anaheim Ducks sway your belief. You think this story ends where, and then the Avalanche had those awful early struggles, and then they got all that depth back. They went through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and then they lost to this random Golden Knights team with Brett Howden on the second line and no contributions from the bottom 6. And that takes me to, and I know I'm just bouncing around here, my X factor, which is the depth in this series. Despite all those guys not scoring and not producing, the Avalanche got contributions from their 4th line, from their 3rd line, the Parker Kellys, the Jack Drurys, the Joel Kirivantas. What stopped Colorado in these previous couple years? MacKinnon was doing everything or nothing was happening. They're getting everything they need to just blitz their way to a Stanley Cup. And I see them winning the Stanley Cup, never being pushed to 7 games, including in this series, which is why, you want to take the Colorado Avalanche -1.5 at -115 I saw. I'm more than on board with that. But what I think is that they either sweep or they win in 5. So I will take Colorado -2.5, either to win in 4 or win in 5, which they've done the first 2 series, and against a Minnesota team playing with the highest level of confidence. Yes, without Brodin. Yes, without Eriksson Ek. But guys were missing on the Colorado side. If I told you before that series, hey, Minnesota's going to miss Eriksson Ek and Brodin, and Colorado's going to have a hobbled Makar, no Lehkonen, no Malinsky, how does the series end? Nobody's saying Colorado 4-1. So just know the type of Colorado we're dealing with, one that we haven't seen, one whose depth, some absurd stat of 14 goal scorers in the previous round. So they're getting depth from every single line. And then on the other hand, Vegas, their bottom 6 is doing nothing. They're doing 0. They're getting no contributions. So you're asking the Marner line and the Jack Eichel line to kind of carry everything forward. And that's going to have to come into play dealing with these injuries here, because we know how the Avalanche can deal with those injuries. They just took out a great team dealing with those injuries. We don't know how Vegas, not playing Utah or Anaheim, they need every bit of production they can get. So you take Mark Stone out of that lineup. Hey, where does Mark Stone rank in terms of the fastest players in the NHL? Yeah, bottom, but they're one of the slowest guys in the league. How's that going to fare while playing through an injury up in Colorado? Think that's going to feel good? How's he going to look skating up there? Your guess is as good as mine. You like pizzeria picks? Well, this is the series I can give them to you. You have no wavering here. This series is not going 6. It's going 4 or 5. It's going to be an absolute waxing. And when it comes to those other things, but what about penalty kill, power play? They're all similar, 25% around the power play for the playoffs. I know Golden Knights are like 90% penalty kill, like 86% for Colorado. This is one of those, I tell you, most of these series, goaltending special, it's all a wash. Everyone told me Carter Hart was the worst goalie in the playoffs round 1. Everybody told me he's the best goalie round 2, AKA that's what goaltending is. And by the way, you can add that to the Avalanche side. all those things that was going against them in the last round, the injuries and not getting contributions from Nelson, Nichushkin, a bunch of guys, and they got poor goaltending and still 1-5. Yet I'm supposed to believe this watered down jug of iced tea version of Vegas. I know your mom did that rather than actually put more sugar in it. What did she do? That iced tea was half full in the fridge. She just added ice, put more water, and now you have a full thing of iced tea in your fridge. You ain't adding sugar to this Vegas drink. They're out of here in 4 or 5, in my opinion. That will get you a solid plus 200 there. And as far as other sniffs, it's really hard with Nathan MacKinnon, the way he's scoring, to say, yeah, I'm going to take somebody else for goal score. But, we're not going to be taking Nathan MacKinnon for goal score. So what we're going to do is we are going to take... I know, but he is a goal scorer. These are parlay pirates that float these seas. They want multiple zeros. You want multiple zeros? We take Val Nichushkin, see if he can turn it around, because he was playing well. He was him and that Kadri line were kind of creating some havoc in those last couple of games in that series. So I could see him banging a couple home. And, every once in a while, let's say Lehkonen comes back in this year. Every once in a while, they scoot Nichushkin up there with MacKinnon. You never know if that will happen. But if you take Val Nichushkin most goals, I think it's plus 11,000. Hey, remember, we hit Duchesne most points, plus 4,000 round one. And don't think I forgot about the Taylor Hall assists plus 1,600 that I gave you last round. So every round we've been able to nail a big one. This round's going to be a little more difficult because you're going to need a little luck on your side, but I shouldn't need to tell you that for a plus 11,000. So we will take that for Val Nichushkin. And then always remember to check, as I mentioned and showed you in the last video, because I waited long enough to put it out, the head-to-head matchups that you can find. I think that's where they make the most mistakes. Remember I showed you Dorofeev versus John Carlson? What did it end up? 7-1 Dorofeev? They aren't out yet, but I'm always there with my monocle looking for good head-to-head matchups. I found Aho versus Konechny. They make mistakes when it comes to those head-to-heads. So make sure you check those out. One thing I did see as I was looking for head-to-heads, I saw top point scorer in the playoffs. Now, I obviously, about my Conn Smythe bets, this, that, and the other. Well, a way to kind of take the Conn Smythe still without actually having to need the Avalanche to win would be to take Nathan MacKinnon, top point scorer, at plus 175. I guess the way this can go, if they get through this series and somehow they play at Carolina and then they lose that series, I don't think that's going to happen. But, Colorado would be my pick to win the Stanley Cup. But you never know. If you take Nathan MacKinnon, top point score, plus 175, look what he did in this last series. Opened up with back-to-back 3-point game. The only reason this price is what it is, and I know this sounds familiar, is because of round one. We got the great Conn Smythe price at the beginning of round two, plus 550, and that is looking pretty damn well right now. Same type of thing applies with the point score. If MacKinnon was being MacKinnon in round one, what would this be, minus 200? It'd be the same price as his leading goal scorer or leading point scorer price in this individual series. But because he had a slower round one, you have guys like Marner who are far enough ahead of him. Remember, if the Avalanche go on, they continue to play more games. And part of the reason why MacKinnon is even trailing these guys in the first place is because they played 9 games total. So I will take Nathan MacKinnon most points to just go with every last thing Nathan MacKinnon I could scrape and get my hands on for this playoff run, because he's the North Star of my playoff run, even though he took out Minnesota. But that is what I have for you here in this series preview, Colorado Avalanche, Vegas Golden Knights. Am I wrong? Should I be a prisoner of the moment? Are the Vegas Golden Knights actually this great team? Because I watched one game the other night and now I'm like, oh, that's what they're going to do every game against Colorado? Yeah, I saw a Minnesota team beat Dallas 3 in a row to take series 4-2, come into a series with the utmost confidence. And I watched that confidence dwindle down every single game. And if you don't think so, go look at what the Minnesota Wild players had to say about the Avalanche. You rarely hear this. Yeah, they were just a better team. This is after taking out Dallas. Brock Faber, there's no other way to put it. They were a better team than us out there. They played better than us. And how could that happen? Because they're the best team in the NHL this year. They have all the ingredients. They're going to the Cup. They're going to break that President's Trophy curse this year. And I'll see you next round to talk about their Stanley Cup matchup. But first, we got to talk about that Eastern Conference final matchup. And where can you get that? Right here. How can you see that? By clicking the notifications and make sure you're subscribed. What else can you do? Let me know your idiotic takes as to why Vegas is going to win this. We didn't even mention how the tinfoil, all you people think everything's always rigged. Well, did you see what Vegas did at the end of that last series? Walked out, didn't do any interviews, got fined $100,000, lost a second-round draft pick. Think the NHL's got... You believe the refs just kind of do what the NHL says? Where does that register on your tinfoil scale? I don't need any of that because you know my beliefs. But anyway, what can you do? You can let me know how you feel about it. Tell me why Vegas is winning this series, and then I'll screenshot it because I know you're probably going to delete it after Colorado goes up 2-0 in the series. But don't worry, I have intermittent fasting. I have intermittent screenshots. I know what you said. I know what you did. And I'll be there to revisit that after this series. But obviously, I'm taking Colorado. Let me know what you think about this series in the comments. If there's anything I missed, obviously, those head-to-heads will eventually show up. If you see something, say something. If you sniff something, say something. I'm sure everybody else would appreciate it. So hopefully I see you down there in the comments. Obviously, you need game-by-game sniffs. I got the Monday, Tuesday show on Josh's channel. They're always available on the Patreon. Josh puts out some baseball picks on my Patreon. You're always welcome over there, along with all the minority, the proud supporters of this channel. And I'm very happy to have anyone and everyone over there. Hopefully it's you soon. If not, I will see you for the next series preview. The Carolina Hurricanes versus blank. Take it easy. I will talk to you then.